for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
See the movie. Goes through everything.
How did you prepare for the action scenes with the sword fighting?
Just trained with two of the grand masters of sword fighting and of martial arts, Jeff Amata and Danny Inosanto, who also, Danny Inosanto came up with Bruce Lee. They trained together, and so I was working with the best.
Why is the story so important for you?
That's why I saw it is so important for me. I think it's a good movie, and I like the script, and I think people will enjoy it.
All right, Evans, flaps. Flat. Speed brakes. Speed brakes. Margaret, power. Gear up.
You know JD?
Yeah, I know JD.
Okay, yeah, he just came home. He just came home, yeah.
All right, well,
I said that like he was in the penitentiary. Yeah, he just came home.
he just got back.
Yeah,
man.
he was upstate. He's swole.
You've been in some of my favorite movies and played some of my favorite characters. I could list them, from Malcolm X to Remember the Titans. I could keep going. But this movie it seems like it's a great challenge. I mean, playing an addict with all this heroism that's going on. How do you think this, is this more difficult or less difficult than any other character you've played?
I don't, each film, each role has its challenges. Like in Malcolm X, it was the fear of what might happen to us if we don't get it right. That was always hovering over our head. This might be one of the more, I don't want to say most, but more complex characters I played. I mean, he's a hero, he's a pilot, he's a drunk, he's a cokehead, and he's lost.
Right.
He's lost, and he's lost his family. So.
Yeah, I guess everybody can relate to the story in some way. I mean, I'm the son of an addict, the brother of an addict, and
Right.
I got family members, and
Right.
I'm sure the viewers do too.
Right.
How relatable do you think these characters are? Because I mean, you have the family members like your son that's dealing with it, and it seems like when there's an addict in the family, everybody's kind of strung out in some way on it. you
Right.
know?
And I think that the writer did a really great job of showing that how it hurts everybody, and it's interesting that as he's on the run and he's being just found out as to what the problems are, he decides to drink some more and go to his ex-wife's house. The worst thing, but isn't that what happens?
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's what happens, and his son's becoming a young man now, and now you got this bumping heads. One of my favorite little pieces of that scene is kissing the boy on the head. Because I actually didn't. I told him that. I said, "Look, don't punch me." I said, "But we're gonna wrestle, but you're not gonna know when it's coming. Yes, you come downstairs and and you be a man and you play it the way you want, and I'm just gonna grab you and we'll just wrestle, And the man is in the house, whips in the house, 17 seconds, and creates chaos, and gets everybody upset. But yet, when he walks out the house, he's like, "Hey, I'll leave. What's wrong with you guys?" Like, that denial is deep, man. He thinks they got a problem. Like, what did I do?
Right.
And then comes outside and the press is sitting there.
Right.
Yeah, it's.
Now, I know that you're a great actor. You've got a lot of awards and everything, and you're African American. But I know that's not just a box you're in. But for our community, you represent a lot, and the characters that you play seem to be positive, even if flawed. How conscious a decision do you make to play these characters that you've taken on?
Well, I try to decide to do what I want to do. Now, there might be a lot of people in the African American community that don't like this character, but they better not act like that person doesn't exist, because like you said, they right there in the house, or they up the block, or they Uncle Boo Boo, or they, we all know somebody like this. So alcoholism is colorblind, addiction is colorblind. So.
Right. Well, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
My man.
How much you figure?
40 million.
$40 million?
But I got bad news for you.
Right. So you guys showed a tremendous amount of chemistry on camera. That was obvious. Was that something that you guys built while filming the movie, or did you guys have that chemistry just off-screen, previous encounters?
Well, I knew Mark was. I knew number one, he had the talent. I knew number two, he was a good guy, you know, and down to earth, regular guy. So I didn't feel there was any hurdles to overcome. You know, we're both professionals. We'll get in there, but you know, I guess it could have been after a day or two where you go, oh man, we were like, what is it, oil and water or something? But that wasn't the case. You know, we just started getting in, finding a pocket, and going for it.
It either works or it doesn't, you know. It's like you could get along great with somebody, but, you know, all of a sudden you appear on screen together and it just doesn't seem to work. But very easy, kind of just happened seamlessly. We were both into the idea of just trying stuff, you know, going out on a limb. You know, we knew we wanted to add some comedic elements and humor to the movie that necessarily wasn't something people would expect.
And they would dog me. They knew, they would say stuff, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I knew they both knew I was going to do it eventually, but I had my own process.
Gotcha.
I was like, nah, I don't see that. 3 takes later, I'm doing it.
There he is.
So Denzel, a lot of the roles you've played recently have been more intense, more serious.
Really?
How was it playing this role and being able to add some of your humor and your versatility?
You know, the timing was perfect. When the script came to me, Mark was already involved and connected with the movie, and when it came to me, I think I was shooting or just about to shoot or something, flight. So I was looking for something different. I was thinking ahead. Now it's time, you know, where my kids have been saying, other people have been saying, when are you going to do something lighter, have more fun? And I want to. So if Hollywood is like Hollywood usually is, then I'm sure I'll be getting a bunch of buddy scripts now. 'Cause, you know, you open that door and then people go, oh, he can do that. You know, that happened with Training Day as well. Once I did that, I was like, got every bad cop script.
I can see you with some sort of stuffed animal that comes to life.
There you go.
Talking.
Teddy 3.
No.
Teddy
not
and
Teddy,
D.
but maybe like-
No, I gotta do my own. I gotta get my own doll.
you know.
Oh, he said no. He said no. Like, don't get it twisted. Not Teddy, D. Yeah, get you, you know, get your little dragon doll, or, you know.
So for you, Mark, you've played a few military-type roles in the past. Was there any different preparation playing this role as a petty officer as opposed to preparation for roles that you've had in the past?
No, because I've had that experience, and I was going to play a Navy SEAL right after this in a very serious movie. So it was just about being prepared and you know, knowing my lines and being willing to try different things and hoping that we mesh well together.
All right. Current events, definitely have to touch on that. A couple of weeks ago, the George Zimmerman verdict came down. America's had a strong emotional connection to the trial and the verdict as well. What are you guys' thoughts on the emotional connection that America has had, you know, with the form of the protests and other things that have gone on around our country?
I think it's interesting. You know, I saw the interview with I forgot if she was Puerto Rican, but the
Juror?
The juror, and her look on it. You know, people were saying, well, you know, this isn't about race, and what is the lawyer? Garagos was like, no, it's all about race, and obviously it still is. You know, it's like I always say, you can't legislate love. You can't legislate people into loving each other. So it takes time, and yes, we do have a black president, but that doesn't mean the slate is clean and you can, you know, 300 years of slavery never happened, and it takes time for both sides to come together. And unfortunately, people are still teaching young people how to hate. So until, you know, that's a long process.
That's the problem. You know, people need to start spreading the love. But it's nice that the protests were peaceful and people coming together, and you know, that's just a part of, you know, starting the healing process. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I told you I didn't like her, man.
Shut up.
What are you getting mad at me for?
Because you talk too much. So you seek revenge.
I seek righteousness. But I'll take revenge.
You born and raised? Where you born and raised? L.A.?
I was not born in Brooklyn.
Okay, I was gonna say you sound like L.A. Yeah, that's why I said, as soon as you said it, as soon as the voice changed, I was like, wait a minute, that ain't L.A.
Yeah.
What part of Brooklyn?
Brownsville.
Yeah, Brownsville. Okay.
Never run, never will.
Ah.
So, fellas, I mean, first, this is like the 15-year since Training Day, and I know that you haven't done like a lot of ensembles. Like, what made this film? I know y'all worked together last year with Equalizer, but what made this film like something that you was willing to jump into?
You know, I just thought about that. It's actually exactly 15 years.
It's been
Because
15 years?
yeah, because it was right before 9/11.
That's right.
And they moved the release date.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What was the question?
What made you decide to jump on this Western and this ensemble?
Training Day.
Yeah.
And the Equalizer. You know, it was like we work well together. I know he knows what he's doing. He was passionate about it. It was something I hadn't done before. I was like, okay, this makes sense.
I see a lot of your cast members from Brooklyn's Finest, Equalizer, to Training Day in this movie. How important is it for you, like when you're doing these new projects, to bring some of these cast members along that you've worked with before?
Oh, it's important, when they're great actors, and you have like Ethan Hawke and Vincent, cats like that, man. It's they're gonna deliver.
Yeah.
I mean, these.
He's from Brooklyn, right? Vince.
Oh, Vincent, yeah.
Yeah, Vincent. We won't hold that
Italian
against
side.
Yeah, that side.
We used to couldn't go to that side.
That's right. Couldn't make that right turn off the park. Not over that way.
That's right.
To get around the other side of Eastern Parkway, you go that way.
You tell Bo, if he wants his town, come see me.
I was talking with a couple of journalists last night, and we was talking about how every movie you're in, you're not a black man in the movie. And I remember seeing Django, and he was a black guy on the horse when he walked into town. But even in this movie, like, you was never the black guy. How do you feel? I mean, how's your roles been able to like transcend race within the movies, where you're just Denzel, the great actor in the movie?
Well, thank you. First of all, I don't know. I wouldn't know how to play a black guy. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, coming the horse. Which stereotype would you want?
Put some music on.
Yeah.
Got a boombox on the side of the horse.
I know me and something behind that, but I don't care. But so I'm just me playing a part from Money Earning Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Getting a chance to be Alonzo or be Sam Chisholm and ride. I don't think of it like, oh, I'm the black.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the black world? I don't know what they think.
Yeah.
We don't have no meeting. We did have a meeting. Both of y'all missed it. When all black people on the planet met and got together, we had a conference about how I should play this part.
Last question. I mean, we spoke a little about JD before, but I got to watch my son do Junior Olympics this summer. It was like the best experience ever to see him. So how does it feel to see your son like star in the series and be so great and like have his star rising like that?
Nothing makes me happy. And let me tell you this: his sister Olivia is on him.
Yeah.
They haven't seen her yet. Olivia. Well, I don't want to put any pressure on her, but she's. Remember, I said so.
All right.
Remember the dad, the Williams sisters? They said, "Wait till you see the other one."
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait till you see the other one.
I can't wait to see another project that you guys do. Great project. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brooklyn in the house.
Brooklyn's.
Yes.
I used to ride my bike. I grew up in Mount Vernon.
Oh,
in
nice.
North Bronx, right across the street from
My dad lives in Yonkers.
Oh, okay. That's where old girl and them are from, School Street.
Outlet for me.
Sure.
Mary J. Blige, Yonkers.
Jaleesa, BLACKTREE TV.
Anytime you're ready.
I used to ride my bike from Mount Vernon to the city. So I would go down White Plains Road, hit Gun Hill, cut across the Webster, all the way down Webster to Fordham Road,
Yes.
up the hill to the Concourse, all the way out the Concourse, head down past Yankee Stadium, over the bridge.
Like a true New Yorker, that's what we do. I'm
gonna tell you one more part about it.
Yes, tell me.
I got
tell me
so
about
good, I tried doing it without holding on to my handlebars.
Oh, no. No,
Because
you
you're
didn't.
13 and stupid. And I was 13 doing it.
That's a bad idea.
I found that out.
I can't believe I'm sitting here with you. Like, Malcolm X changed my life. It is.
You mean the movie or?
The movie, the book, but especially watching you play Malcolm X. Like, I am in shock. So I'm so excited to be here with you. So thank you for your time.
My pleasure, and thank you.
Yes. So Fences.
Yeah, but you look like you were 2 when Malcolm X came out.
Oh, I don't even think I was born.
Okay.
But I'm very.
I thought I was being complimentary, but see, that's why a man got to keep his mouth shut. Boy, you got to be careful. I remember one time when I said, "Oh, sweetheart, are you pregnant?" She's like, "No."
So let's talk about Malcolm X for a moment, right? August Wilson, he was definitely heavily influenced by Malcolm X and a lot of his views. You recently mentioned that Malcolm X was a hard character for you to break away from. Why did you feel so connected to him?
Not a hard character to break away from, like, over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like August Wilson's material, there's many things he said that I got to say over and over as Malcolm X that stuck, you know, and his point of view and his transition from hatred to love. Mm-hmm. Troy has a transition from hell to hallelujah. Mm-hmm. Almost the first or second word out of his mouth, all hell this and hell that, all hell. And one of the last things he says is hallelujah. Mm-hmm. So that's his spiritual arc. Now, he ain't where he was needed to be yet, but that was as far as he was gonna get.
And August Wilson also stated that he believed his series of plays provided white people an opportunity to look at black people differently.
Okay.
Given the current climate of this country, do you believe that Fences will do that, or does it even need to?
Maybe shine a light. That's too much. You can't put all of that on a film. But to shine a light, I think it's important for us to try to find ways that we can work together, mm-hmm. instead of increasingly becoming a society that finds ways to showcase how we're different.
That's right.
You know, there's a polarization or going on in our society, and maybe even a meanness that we have to be careful. It's a very interesting time we live in now. When we look back, well, when you look back 50 years from now, what happened? Mm-hmm. There's a great book written years ago by Alvin Toffler called The Third Wave, between the agricultural and the industrial revolution, between the industrial revolution and the information age. We're in the height of the information age, or wherever we are in it. We don't know if it's the height yet.
Yes.
But we have to at least ask ourselves, what is happening to us? Is it helping us? Is it unifying us? Are we using it, or is it using us?
Yes, and we need more love.
Anyway.
Absolutely. I have to ask, there's a podcast called Denzel Washington is the Greatest Actor of All Time. Are you familiar with it?
No.
So they, diehard Denzel fans, that's the name of the podcast. And every time there's a guest, they ask them, what are your top 5 Denzel Washington movies? So you have to try to give us a top 5.
Don't have any.
Don't have
I don't
any.
live in the past.
Well, what if someone wasn't familiar with your work?
What would I ask them to see?
Mm-hmm.
Fences.
Absolutely. There you have it. Denzel Washington. Thank you.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you? What law is there say I got to like you? Want to stand up in front of my face and ask a damn fool-ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you.
Each one of us is greater than the worst thing we've ever done.
Jamal Finkley.
Yeah.
Quiet, please.
My man got the gear on, man. Wait, all right.
Yeah, Jamal Finkley, BLACKTREE TV.
Anytime you're ready.
You gotta be one of the greatest actors of all time. You're definitely in my
thanks,
book.
Man. Thank you.
But I wonder, like, what was the actor that made you get up and get into it? Like, was there somebody that you seen perform? You know,
I saw James Earl Jones do Oedipus the King at St. John of Divine Cathedral. I saw Taxi Driver. I saw just actors on stage that you wouldn't even know. He's like, how did they do that? I'm still seeing people. I saw Mark Rylance, and I was inspired. You know, you find out that, yeah, maybe I can do that, and then you see those that really can do it. You know, I never wanted to be an actor, but ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Would you have played basketball? I know you was playing.
I played a little basketball. Look, I started rubbing my knees as soon as that's interesting. It's psychosomatic. Yeah, I I started playing a little basketball. I was all right. I'm from a great basketball town, Mount Vernon, New York. We had a lot of great players. I played a little football, but I didn't make the NFL, but my son did.
Yeah.
But, you know, it worked out all right.
Over. No, you're not capable of continuing the practice.
But I'll take over because in the architecture of this firm, I am a pillar.
Yes, and Roman, I'd hope to reward you for that.
Hope don't get the job done.
What does that mean?
That means hope don't get the job done.
It was something I read where you talked about your people from Mount Vernon saying that, you know, like they've done like 40 years in the penitentiary together.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, and, you know, incarceration rates in America has been a problem, especially as opposed to minorities. And Roman delves into the issues around the legal system. Do you think we've made any headway in the
I
legal?
think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Chicago a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, and we saw these little kids on bikes with masks on the side of their head, like 5 or 6 of them. And the driver said, yeah, they're little yummies. I said, who? He said, little yummies. Look up, Google Lil Yummy. Lil Yummy was an 11-year-old murderer.
Wow.
And you look at his picture, you'll see the headshot of him, and he's like this. And he got murdered at 11 by a 14-year-old.
Wow.
Who's doing life now, and a 16-year-old.
That makes no sense.
You blame the system? Where was his father? Yeah. It starts in the house. It starts in the home. And yeah, well, my father got locked up. Well, where was his father?
Yeah.
You know, like I did talk about my 3 closest friends, and they did, you know, 15 to 25. One did 28, this and that. I was the only one of the 3 that had a father in my life, even though my parents were together. But I still had a father who was a gentle man and a good example, and they didn't. We can blame the system if we want, but they didn't lock any of us up at 7.
Yeah.
We were all doing enough to get locked up at 13. My parents sent me in another direction. They didn't have anybody to help them, and they kept doing what they was doing, and the system got them. So I don't, the system is rigged, but why, all the more reason not to help it.
Speaking of fatherhood, Olivia, Malcolm, JD, all doing great things, and JD is now working with Spike Lee
right now,
on
yeah.
the Black Klansman.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to know, like, do you have any advice for him on working with Spike?
We were talking this morning. We were talking for about an hour and a half this morning, and I'm proud of them all. My daughter's doing Shakespeare, Taming of the Shrew in Chicago. My other son is an AFI graduate, Penn graduate, got a Morehouse graduate, an NYU graduate, a Yale graduate. You know, my wife did a great job. You know, but to answer your question, yeah, we you know, it's hard when you're a father, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay out of it. But I'm his father, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But he asked me, you know, and I told him, I said, man, roll with Spike. Spike, I learned how to really improvise and flow with Spike.
Yeah.
You know, on Mo Better Blues and all the rest of them, and he's learning that now, and so I'm proud of them all. Appreciate it.
Doing all right, huh?
Yeah, he's doing good. Jamal Finkley, BlackTree TV.
Anytime you're ready.
So have you seen Black Klansman yet? Have you checked it out?
No, I haven't even seen it yet.
Man, I thought Spike would give you the early
No,
copy.
I'm seeing it. Well, I can't say. I can't say for reasons I can't say, but I'm gonna say.
I gotta ask though, I was surprised to see that you've never done a sequel in your career. Like, what made you jump on to this franchise?
Not asked a lot. A lot of movies I've done aren't sequel kind of movies.
No Malcolm X 2.
yeah. We saw the end. No, it's as simple as that. The only one that I was asked to do was a prequel to, or they talked about a prequel to Safe House. And I don't know what happened.
You haven't been immortalized on the Walk of Fame, and I'm wondering, is that something that you're interested in, or?
I haven't been what?
I don't know.
Oh, the star on the Walk of Fame thing?
Yeah.
But I got the footprints.
Oh, you got the footprints?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Man,
my researcher did wrong. I'm sorry about that. Well, I mean, all y'all have had a great partnership.
You got a star, man?
No, man.
You
ain't got no star yet. I ain't got no footprint, no star, no fingerprint. Hook me up, D.
He got you, man.
You know?
The star might be a little small, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I'll take a small one.
It may not be on Hollywood. There's a couple.
It'll be on the brand. I got
Fairfax.
I got some over there on Fairfax. And it's only gonna be your left foot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it. That man on Redondo. I'm sorry.
You have this book list in this movie and that you're going through. And I wonder, like in real life, what's like some of the books that you've lived by?
One of my favorites growing up. That's the first one that comes to mind. Herman Hesse, Sid Arthur.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yo, man, elevator's closed.
They've mentioned you in talks for Scarface, and I'm wondering, are you considering that, and how?
Just I've been helping them develop a script. It just depends on the script, you know. So that's really where that's at right now. Just working on the script to make sure it's right, you know, and it's its own movie, not Scarface that we saw before, not a remake of that.
Right.
That's a hard. Oh, that's right. Y'all talking about with real.
Yeah,
the real Latin
deal from Sinaloa.
Right.
So he come from Sinaloa.
Chapo.
Yeah, El Chapo. Right. It's perfect. It's perfect timing for that, but script. Got it right.
All you guys together, I mean, have been awarded.
I want them to be Scarface. What do you think about that?
I think you can do it.
To be Scarface?
Yes, man.
After the turkey scene in the beginning of this,
Come on,
I was
man.
like, yo,
Come on, man.
Denzel,
Dominican.
You gotta leave Al alone.
Hey, man, hey,
I always tell the truth. Even when I lie. I have to be a Dominican.
You be Dominican.
Yeah,
That's
be
what I'm talking
Dominican.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
Don't like
Already.
that to me, man. Don't come to me like that. But
Dominican Scarface.
that's on. I know speak the well, but
we joking, but I'm telling you, I'm working on.
I gotta ask y'all all have been awarded many times with Melissa Leo also, and now Ashton for Moonlight. What makes why is an award not an award? Why is it not important till you get it, or is it important when you get like an Oscar? And like, what does that mean to you?
as my mother said, man gives the award, God gives the reward. I just leave it as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, because somebody says you're the best at this today, then tomorrow they say you're not, or you used to be, or you know, I don't. There's no rhyme or reason to that. So you control what you control, control. You know, do the best job you can do.
And always good to talk to you guys, man. Y'all a great pair. Keep doing your thing.